Welcome. My name is Ali Raskin. I am super grateful that you have chosen to come live or watch the replay of this class. We are going to talk about why natural remedies, and there are so many reasons why. And so let's just start off with let's rip off the Band-Aid, like the things that we don't really want to talk about, but we really have to talk about, which is toxins. So my foray into natural health was because of a very sick baby, which led me very quickly to learning about the toxins that we put on our body. And I learned very quickly that the average woman puts about 300 toxic chemicals on her body before she has breakfast in the morning. So think about that for a second. It's just all the things we do as women, right? We do our hair, we put our deodorant on, we have our lotions and our potions and our makeup and our this and our that. Before we even eat breakfast, we have now toxified our bodies. So there's a lot of data on toxins out there. We're not going to spend this whole class talking about that, but I highly encourage you to do some research on some keywords like fragrance, which was literally a dumping ground for chemicals, literally a dumping ground, a legal dumping ground for chemicals for corporations. Sodium lauryl, sodium laureth, sodium lulula, any of those sulfates. Sodium, they have all different ways that they name them. That's why I say it that way, is that there's all different versions of that word. I'm not just making things up. There's just lots of ways that you'll see them on a package. Just like fragrance is also called parfum on packages as well. So note that as well. Things like anytime you see antibacterial on a package, it's a heavy hitter, yuck. Because that's a topical antibiotic that has lots of negative side effects. So just know what you put on your body accumulates in your body and takes much longer to come out than it takes to put in. But that being said, we do not need these toxic chemicals to be beautiful, to be clean, for our homes to be clean. There is a better way. And we're going to talk about that better way today, which is plants. We're going to be using plants. So what are essential oils? Essential oils are plant material that normally comes from using low pressure, low temperature to distill that plant. And I'm going to talk about other ways too. And they have been used historically for thousands of years for healing properties. Plants have always been our medicine until the early 1900s, when some finagling went on with our medical system, and some families got very involved with the medical system when they realized that they could make copies of plants using petrochemicals, gasoline byproducts, to copy the chemical constituents in plants. And that is when everything changed with medicine. So part of patent law is that you cannot patent a plant. So what does that mean? You can make a synthetic version of a plant and you can then sell it as a medication. You can copy the chemical constituent in that plant and now sell it as a medication. So it's really important to kind of understand that history a little bit. There's lots of great videos going around right now about the Rockefeller family and their impact on the medical industry. I highly recommend you do some research and looking into that, and know that I'm not just making this stuff up. We are going to talk about going back to the roots of our knowledge, our ancient wisdom, and using these plants to help our bodies heal themselves, because our bodies want to do just that. They want to heal themselves. We just have to give them the tools to do so. So why Young Living essential oils? There's oils all over the place, right? Like you can literally buy them at the gas station on the corner of my house. There are essential oils and all over the place now. So what is the difference between Young Living and all the different essential oils that are on the market today? So the vast majority of essential oils, there is no end-to-end control and there's no regulation on what goes into that bottle. So you don't even have to have plant material in the bottle to call it an essential oil. Did you hear what I just said? You don't even have to have plant material in there. It literally could be all synthetic. So you really need to know what you're buying, because even those companies that claim to be pure, organic, even USDA organic, can have a high percentage of synthetics in the package. Even USDA organic can have up to 5% chemical in the bottle. So it could be that the 5% chemical is a synthetic smell and the rest is carrier oil. Do you hear how crazy that is? So you really need to know your farmer, right? We say this all the time, know thy farmer. And in this case, the farmer is Young Living, who has full control from the seed to the seal of what we get. You can go visit the farms yourselves and you can see it, which several of us on this call just came from the farms a weekend ago, seeing how things are done. So Young Living never uses a pesticide or an herbicide. Everything is handled in a way so that we know that what we get is what we want in that bottle, which is just the plant material and exactly what it says on the label with full transparency. Every single bottle has a lot number on it. So if you had a question about a specific bottle that you get, they could trace back exactly the day that that plant was distilled and what the distillation looks like. I don't know of any other company that does that. And every single bottle goes through, I think, 42 tests now to see, is it a good distillation? Is it the plant that I thought that that we thought we were distilling? Did anything inorganic get on this? Are there any heavy metals in this distillation? All these things are tested before we get them on our body. And by the way, it's tested for twice, once before bottling and once after bottling, just so you know the extent of what Young Living goes through to get what we want on our body. So if I'm buying an oil to help me with my lungs, I know that it has everything that I need in it. If I'm buying that same exact oil to help me with my knees, because yes, the same oil will do both, right? Then I know that the chemical constituents are high enough to help me with my knees as well. So very, very unique company. Also a heart of gold, a private company, a family-owned company that has full control of the direction of the company, that is not beholden to any shareholders. They can do what's right because it is what is right. So how do we use these essential oils? Because I could talk about why Young Living all day long, and in the interest of time, I want time for stories. So just when we're talking about Young Living now going forward, there are 4 ways to use these oils. And I say that because of safety. These oils are safe to ingest. I can put them directly in my water bottle, which I just did, and I can drink whatever oil I so choose. Quick rule, whatever it smells like is usually what it tastes like. So if you don't love the smell, you're probably not going to love the taste. So let's say you don't love the smell of an oil, that you don't really want to taste it, you can put it in a capsule and take it that way. So there's also, you could put it in a spoonful of honey for a little one who maybe can't swallow a capsule yet or won't drink it. So those are great ways to ingest oils for different reasons. And don't worry, we'll guide you through what you need to use when. As you join our teams, you will have so many resources, so don't feel overwhelmed. The second way is topical. I got an achy belly, put it on my belly. Got an achy knee, put it on my knee. But also we have these things called VitaFlex or reflexology points, and you can use those as well. So your ears, your hands, your feet, your spine, great places to apply oils so they can correlate to a part of your body that maybe really needs support. Topical. Third way is inhalation. The fastest way to affect your brain is through your sense of smell. So actually, I can affect my brain before I even recognize that I'm smelling the plant. How cool is that? That's how fast it works. And the fourth way, arguably same as the third, is using a diffuser. I think using a diffuser is really a little bit different because not only are you smelling it, it's landing on your skin, not when you have a shirt on, my skin, and going into my pores. I'm breathing it into my lungs, so I'm almost like ingestion. And diffusers are an amazing way to manipulate your household. So you want to change the way people are acting in your home or feeling in your home, or are disagreeing with you and allowing you to put them on topically or internally, just diffuse it, right? It's a great way to get all the oils in our home and make it smell really amazing along the way. Okay, so that's how we use the oils. Let's talk about how to get started with Young Living. Young Living actually started as a supplement and essential oil company and has grown to be truly a lifestyle company, because the people buying from Young Living kept saying, well, we need this too that's non-toxic, and we want this that's non-toxic, and can you make this for me and that for me and this for me? And it went from a few products to almost 800 products now, to give you an idea of the breadth of what Young Living carries. So where do you start? First of all, get with the person who invited you to this class, and they will walk you through the best place for you. If you are wanting to target your hormones, then let's put a package together for you for hormones. If you just want kind of like your everyday essentials, then look at maybe a starter kit with the diffuser. If you are looking for specific remedies for maybe some joint issues going on, let them put a package together for you for that. So the sky is the limit. You really can start any way that you want with Young Living, which gives you so much freedom, which is so beautiful. So with that, we're going to give you some stories around the different kind of lifestyle portions of Young Living. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to turn it over to Stacy, because I see your face first here. And why don't you start and kick us off?
Okay, well, I love this part because I love sharing stories about the stuff that I love in Young Living. There's not much that I don't love. There's a few things that I don't like the taste of, but I still take it because I need it. But first, I want to talk about Ninja Red. I absolutely love Ninja Red. It is, to me, a superfood. It's got a ton of antioxidants in it. I will tell you a personal story with Ninja Red. Well, a couple of when I'm feeling bad, and even if my kids are feeling bad, we drink a ton of this because it literally gives us that boost and makes us feel wonderful again really quick. But I have taken Ninja Red, and I also take a supplement from Young Living, Illuminize. And this is to help maintain proper eye health. But I've been taking this on a regimen daily, and my eyesight has gotten better. My ophthalmologist thought it was absolutely amazing of what our products have been doing for me. And so that is one thing that I absolutely love. Another thing I love about is Nitro. This is it helps you focus, gives you energy. But I tell you, the first time I took this, I swear I felt like somebody was buffing my brain. I don't know if Tina remembers that, but we were sitting in a room in Alabama, and I took it and I went, leaned over, and I think I even told Stacy Smith, I went, I think that thing just buffed my brain, because it really does give you some good stuff to focus and go with it. Another thing for your brain is MindWise. I take this every day. One thing I love about it, it has bioidentical CoQ10 in it. That is huge. We all need to take this. I know I'm over 50, but I've heard some great stories of students in college taking this, and they've had some amazing results. I take 2 of these a day. Those are some of the supplements in Ninja Red. Okay, so I'm going to give you, I have this little bag that I carry in my purse, and these are the oils I carry with me all over the place, because if something comes up and I need something, I have it. So I'm just going to run through a couple of things that I really absolutely love. Okay, so Thieves. If you don't know about Thieves, I love Thieves. It boosts your immune system. How many of us here today need to boost our immune system? I just use this and I roll it on. I roll it on my kids. They know when this comes out that they might as well just roll up their sleeves, and I'm going to rub it on the back of their neck. My kids know that even going down the road, I will pull out an oil and I'll start putting it on the back of their neck and everything. They're used to me oiling them up all the time. Lavender, I will say, I got into Young Living using lavender because my daughter had some seasonal changes that she needed some help with, and lavender helped us immensely with that. And also lemon and peppermint did helped with that too. But lemon, I've come to find out, is a great detoxer. So I put it in my water and drink it because I want to flush the toxins out of my body. And peppermint is also good for that too. But also, this is great. I play pickleball and it gets a little warm. So I make a spray and I spray this on the back of my neck, on my skin. I don't do it on my face because peppermint's hot. You don't want to get that in your eyeball because you will definitely start crying. Aroma Ease. I absolutely love this one. It is definitely for your tummy. So if you have any tummy issues going on, you can just rub it right on your tummy, and it helps overcome any challenges. Because if you got going too fast or your is coming out, it's going to balance you and help you out. Just believe me. Another one for the immune system, I have immune power here. We rub that on the back of our necks because we are here to build up our immune system. Like I said, really, we need to do that all the time these days. Helichrysum is another favorite of mine. This one I have used to stop bleeding in my family. A kid got hit baseball to the nose and started bleeding, and I ran over to him and I swiped his nose with the helichrysum and it stopped it. So it's pretty amazing. And I will tell you, my last one that I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to turn it over, is Stress Away. Okay, so I don't feel like I have a lot of stress, but Dr. Jim Bob Haggerton said everybody has stress. We just all deal with it in different ways. I don't feel like I get too stressful. I started falling in love with this because I love the smell of it. And when I found out how much perfume is, all the fragrances and all the chemicals and toxins that are in perfumes, I knew I needed to find something that was natural and that was going to smell good and that I loved on my body. So I started using Stress Away for that. And so I absolutely love Stress Away for this. But I tell you, Stress Away is great for stress. I have a girlfriend that I think she's on here today, but she asked the other day when we were walking down the road, she goes, "Do you have Stress Away?" And I said, "Sure, I think I do." Pulled out my little thing and she drops it under her tongue because she had a little anxious moment there. And she goes, "That's how I take it." And I go, "Really?" Well, I just rub it on. So we all do things differently, and we can help each other by learning, and there's all kind of groups that you can learn from. So definitely get back in touch with the person that invited you so they can help get you into where you can learn more about this. So I think I'm going to turn it over, I think, to Tina now, because she is going to talk about thieves.
Hey guys, I'm so excited to be here. When I joined Young Living, everybody was talking about this thieves cleaner, and I was like, I'm good. I've got Clorox cleanup, I've got 409, I've got Windex, I've got all the things, right? The problem is all of those things had toxins like what Allie was talking about earlier. And I've had seasonal asthma and allergies my whole life. And so I didn't realize how much the cleaners I was using in my house were contributing to those problems. And so when I switched over to Thieves Household Cleaner, it comes in a bottle like this. It is super concentrated, so you only need a little cap full. And this one is a brand new bottle. So let me see if I can grab something and get this lid off. Here we go. I just poked a hole in it. You're going to mix it in a spray bottle. Now, it doesn't have to be glass. I like to use glass, and this one just happened to be in my Thieves home cleaning kit. But I'll take out the nozzle here, and I will put one capful, just one capful in this bottle. Now, if I was doing a bigger cleaning bottle, like the 32 ounce, I would probably put two. So there, that goes in there. And then let me show you something that I love to do. I started doing this, I don't know, a few months ago, back in the spring when Luscious Lemon came out. I made my own fall blend. And if you want the recipe, I actually put it in a picture in the chat. So just go scroll up and you'll see where I put a picture. It starts with 10 orange. Okay, so this fall blend has orange, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, ginger, and cardamom in it. And if you want to know more about all of those oils individually, just do a DuckDuckGo search. You'll find all of the benefits of those 6 oils. So I'm just going to put like I don't know, 4 or 5 drops. And see, I've got a little flip cap on my bottle. I recycled an old empty bottle and made myself a blend. I just made that recipe and I multiplied it ×5. So then we're going to add water into this. Let's see if I can do this on camera without making a hot mess here in front of all of you friends. We're just going to fill it up. And then whenever I go to clean my countertops, my refrigerator, all the stainless, I have real natural stone countertops, the floors, the dog bed, I mean, name it, the bathrooms. There's nothing I can't clean with my Thieves household cleaner. So I give it a good shake. I did spill a little bit. And now when I spray, I'm literally providing like an aroma of fall all over my house. And I've got those oils going throughout my house, just like we were talking about with the diffuser. It's going through as I clean. And so you're leaving behind a clean, sanitized area. I want to show you another hack because I'm big into recycling and reusing. Never throw away this bottle because guess what? These nozzles fit right on it. So when your Thieves household cleaner bottle is empty, don't throw it out. Just take your new bottle, put a cap full in here, add your oils if you want, add your water, shake it up, and you're ready to spray. And then you don't have to worry about labeling your bottle. You know exactly what's in this. So let me tell you, I have saved so much money because household cleaners are expensive. This one bottle will make about 40 bottles for me the way I mix it. If you're mixing it stronger with a heavier dilution, you'll get fewer bottles. If you're mixing it just for window and glass cleaner, you'll get more bottles. But I'm able to stretch this out, and I'm paying way less than $1 per spray bottle for my cleaner, and it does all the things. So when you open up my kitchen or bathroom counters, you don't see all these toxic chemicals anymore. You see Thieves household cleaner. You see Thieves fruit and veggie soak, which is another amazing product. You see Thieves kitchen and bath scrub, Thieves laundry soap. All of the things are there. And so no chemicals, none of the toxic ingredients, and all of the good smells that we love for our homes. So I am so excited to be able to share this with you and to see that you're going to be able to ditch all those toxins and switch to Thieves household cleaner and all the other Thieves products and improve your home and actually bring benefit to your family instead of a health cost. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this back over to Allie because I think we're about to segue into the next portion of our call.
I think actually Teresa is up. Is she there? I see her now. Teresa, are you good to unmute?
Yes. Hey, everybody. So I started, hi, I'm at the beach. Can you see? And I started using oils in 2015, just like Tina, similar to Tina. I just wanted to support my breathing, healthy, normal breathing. And I was a lover of those chemicals. But my favorite blend after going through, Pinterest and just doing our own research, right, was LLP. So I know a lot of you are familiar with that, lemon, lavender, and peppermint, right? So, the seasonal snot and the teary eyes and just the congestion, and, you kind of sound like a dial tone most of the time. And I just wanted to declog that, right? So I found LLP, lemon, lavender, and peppermint. But knowing that we have inflammation, knowing that the brain is very much a key organ as far as our breathing was concerned, I decided to add frankincense and copaiba to the lemon, lavender, and peppermint. And so I was using that, rolling it all over on my sinuses, on my chest, on my throat, on the back, on the feet, wherever, whenever there's enough real estate on the body. When I started looking into oils and found that, people were talking about emotions, people were talking about blends, and discovered Dr. Mind's book, Releasing Emotional Patterns, that really blew me away because I've always believed in our physical health being founded on our emotional health. And I didn't put it together. Like Ali said, oils affect our emotions because the scent really triggers that emotional center of the brain. I was like blown away. And this is what I discovered. I'm not going to share my screen because my screen messes up every time I do that. But here, looking at the emotions supported by lavender, abandonment, criticism, block communication, fear of rejection, feeling unseen or unheard. What emotions are we keeping inside of us that we are afraid to express for fear of rejection, fear of hurting somebody else? I could relate to that. Lemon, anxiousness, emptiness, detachment, frustration, confusion, inability to focus, guilt. Peppermint, unbearable pain, intense depression, heaviness, pessimistic, just muddled emotions. Raise your hand, raise the roof, guys. Frankincense, sense of feeling abandoned, again, anxiousness, feeling disconnected from our creator, our divine, spiritual disconnection, feeling distant from the father figure. Okay, my father passed away in 2006. Just feeling that lack of protection, a sense of insecurity, being dark, even being like very, very dark and having that disconnection, that spiritual darkness, and just totally feeling alone. Copaiba, again, for that anxiety, that anxiousness feeling unworthy, being self-critical, self-loathing, being shameful, being guilty, even the tendency to rebel or feeling regretful, like remorse. I should have done this, I should have done that. That was like cold water splashed on me. And I'm like, oh, why these are helping me breathe better and sleep better? I didn't realize it was also washing away those emotions. So now, knowing all of that 6 years, 7 years later, when I do feel something, I don't just look at like what is happening on the physical level. I try to see, okay, this is what's happening, this is what's triggering here, right? It's the red flag in the physical body, but what is it emotionally rooted to? And when I started doing that, I could see just a different shift and a transformation in my physical well-being. So if you weren't wondering, some of you saw me like rolling something at the start of the class. It's valor, kind of just like center us, right? We know what valor is. It's like liquid courage. Nowadays, when you turn on the news or just turn on anything, we need all that courage. So back to you, Ali.
So we're going to head into the next, let me just, sorry, let me regroup myself actually. Here we go. There I am. Okay. So let's talk about ways to get started with Young Living. We already talked about ways that you start with really anything you want, but there are 3 ways to really save money. The first is you can get a starter kit, which is greatly discounted, or you can put anything in the US on subscribe to save, which will get you 24% off of anything that you are buying. Or purchase anything over 100 product value gets you a 24% discount. The second way to save is the subscribe to save program is amazing. If you purchase 50 product value each month, you're going to earn 10% back in the first 3 months, 20% back after 3 months. And after a couple of years, which goes very quickly, you're going to get 25% back on everything you buy. That acts as just spending money with Young Living that you can spend on ever you want. So need a new lipstick, get a new lipstick. Want some free helichrysum, do that. So those are the 2 ways to save. The third way to save or really make is you are going to fall in love with these products like everyone else does. You just will fall in love, and you're going to naturally tell your friends and family about them. When you naturally tell them, Young Living will send you a thank you check just by giving them your referral link because you're the one who referred them. So with that, we're going to talk about how some people have shared this referral link and ended up earning an income with Young Living, and how that has changed their life and why they choose to help others and share with others. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Dr. Elizabeth Baraki. Here she is. And I'm going to let her tell her story. Yep, there she went. Sorry, I'm trying to catch you, Elizabeth, if you want to unmute yourself. So that you can, so I met Dr. Elizabeth about 1.5 years ago, and she's just been amazing to work with. I love to work with people who come from a Western background, who start seeing natural health and just see what a huge impact it has and really embrace that for themselves and others. So there we go, Elizabeth. Awesome. So let me spotlight you.
Anything in particular you want me to talk about?
Yeah, I just want you to specifically share why do you share Young Living with others and how that's changed things with you from and how you leverage that from a financial impact to help support your family.
So I, as Ali said, I've been involved about 1.5 years, and my exposure was through Allie, and it was on a walk for something completely unrelated, but I had a sick dog that had a malignant tumor on his leg. So that was my intro to oils. And, you know, I've been on these calls and I've been using my oils and I've been sharing the oils. Some of my stories that have to do with oils, I have a 23-year-old son that has Down syndrome. And so kids that have special needs have slow digestive tracts. So constipation was always an issue. So as of late, one of several staples are, he gets a capsule every morning that has like 2 drops of Juvaflex, 4 of Digize, 4 of GLF, and he gets an essential zyme. That has taken us from spending maybe 2 to 3 hours sitting on the commode every day trying to poop rocks out to just going in doing our business 2 or 3 times a day, and there's no problems anymore. We do still keep peppermint in every one of the bathrooms because peppermint's great in the commode, because if you're having a little struggle, you just drop a drop in the commode and it relaxes the anal sphincter. So that's a nice little trick too, and plus it smells good. So that's something that's been really, really beneficial to my family and gotten us away from mineral oil and Miralax and all of these other things that were not healthy for my younger son's gut. My older son was a little more skeptical. So recently he had a cough for 2 days. I just could not sleep, more into Western medicine. And I'm like, Aiden, you know, please, you know, just come home. Let me help you. So I had a bottle of Raven and I actually had a bottle of Breathe Again. It came as a promo. So I had him do a scent tent and he's like, oh my gosh, this is great. So I made him a 50-50 mix blend of Raven and Breathe Again. And then I made him an lemon, lavender, and peppermint blend because wasn't sure if there was an allergy component or not. And I gave him Thieves cough drops and Thieves chest rub. And he went from being completely Western medicine to flipping. It's like, this is great, totally natural. So for me, I've just become more disenchanted with Western medicine over the course of time. I really like being able to use something that's natural and not toxic to take care of my family. And it's like when it's great when my family is embracing it and other people around me are embracing it. It also makes it easy. So my older son the other day was asked to go to the grocery store by his girlfriend to get clove and cinnamon and nutmeg and ginger because she was going to make a cake. And I said, well, why are you going to buy those spices? You just use the herb, you know, what I have in the kitchen, the essential oils. I said, you know, they don't expire. They taste better. They're better for you. And he goes, man, Mom, you could be a salesman. Yeah. And I said, it's not, I guess I could, but it's not sales when you believe in something. I mean, I really, truly believe in how these products, these oils have benefited my family and friends, coworkers who have begun on a journey and seen the difference that these products make. So did I cover it?
You did. And also Elizabeth is the queen of learning how to write off things on our taxes.
Yes.
By using the home-based business tax exemption. So
Yeah.
that is a really important thing too.
So I very quickly embraced the concept of a home business. And then I listened to Allie's tax CPA, Courtney Epps, is that her name? And it was like a huge aha moment, like last November. I've been keeping track of everything, but I hadn't really looked at it at a Schedule C return and what was included in all of that. But I knew that everything that I bought was deductible. I knew all of the supplies and samples and little vials that I bought were deductible. But, you know, I have a home office. It's also does other things like raindrop and stuff. But this area is 10% of my square footage. So 10% of my property taxes, 10% of my mortgage interest, 10% of all my utilities, my whole fax line, internet, cell phone, car, and not just miles, it's the car and the repairs and it's everything. So that's a huge saving. So last year was my first year to do a tax return using a home business. And I went from having to pay about $3,000 dollars to getting that back. So yeah. So this year I'm hoping it's going to be better.
It's amazing, right? So you're not just making money, but you're saving money by utilizing your home-based business. This is an epiphany for many people. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Elizabeth. So Teresa, were you going to introduce April? Is that what we're next?
Oh, I was going to talk before her.
Oh, you're next. You're going to go before. Okay,
Yeah.
so let me.
And then I'll segue into her. So I'm going to do part of what she was supposed to.
Okay, got it. Okay, so Teresa Belmonte is a Crown Diamond, living currently in California as we try to reel her in with a fishing rod to Texas here. But she's an amazing woman who has a massive team. And we're going to share a little bit about the income disclosure in a little bit, but Teresa, please do share why you share with others and also your background of like where you came from to this. I think that's very interesting too for you.
Thank you, Ali. Okay, so Ali and I have very similar backgrounds. We were both in the IT industry. I have been in the IT industry since Revelation. So since the mid 90s, early 90s. Okay, I'm 53. After all, it's young living, right? Not young dead. So we were with the IT industry since the 90s, and I had been exposed to teaching a lot. Now, being part of the IT industry, I'm not a programmer, I'm not an analyst. I did dabble in those, but I had my own business in IT education. So I am familiar with technology. I am familiar with teaching. What I'm not familiar with is health, right? And I was thinking of like a career in health. I was like, oh gosh, I need to go to school. I need to do this. I need to be working at the hospital. And that was my view of that, to get into a different space. Because when I moved to the US in 2000, it seemed like that was a very lucrative space. And while I did keep my business in the Philippines, I was getting kind of antsy and restless here in the US. And part of that business, which I really, really love, was kind of like semi-retired, was that it was bringing in passive income. Now, does anybody know what passive income is? So passive income is pretty much doing the work once and then you see that paycheck coming and coming. So the best, I guess, examples of passive income would be rentals and royalties, right? Both of which require a huge investment. So one is a huge investment in money, if you're going to get rental property, and the other one is huge investment in skill. So if you're an artist, if you're an author, if you have any intellectual property to share, that's where the royalties come from. So as I was dreaming of like another career or that passive income in the US, I couldn't really see past those two because both I was not willing to put that in. So fast forward, and that was 2009. Fast forward, I got very sick in 2014, and that's when I discovered Young Living. So when I was getting sick and the allopathic treatments were not agreeing with my body, going natural was the last thing on my head because it was just not how we were programmed. Even if I come from a good mix of East and West medicine, a lot of healing arts back from where I am. And if my background doesn't give it away, I come from a tropical country called the Philippines. Yay! We have 7,100 islands at high tide. So I didn't know that. I wasn't looking into that here. But Young Living just changed everything. Even if I was using essential oils back in the 90s, I did not know that there was seed to seed. I did not know that there was like therapeutic grade. I did not know that it was really helpful with emotions or with my muscle, with my joints, or just with my gut health. Just a lot of things I didn't know because, when you're in IT, you don't look at that, right, Ali? It's just one of those things that, we don't kind of look at that. So building a business with this was the last thing on my mind. Plus, it was multi-level marketing. Yuck. Okay, raise your hand. Who feels that way? We should play a game. I will never get into network marketing because it's gross. It's icky. You're like a used car salesman, even worse. It's like you're, scum of the earth. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a scam. I'm not a scammer. I don't want to lose my friends and family. I had all those no's, don'ts, will never. Yep. And I'm from IT. What do I know, right? But guys, once we start opening those bottles, you cannot help but share. Come on, I was a walking diffuser, right? Who's a walking diffuser? So everywhere I went, people would smell and they'd be like, what's that? because I had Raven on, I had LLPFC on, I had RC on, I didn't care. I even put MU Power on. Ew, have you ever put that on? I put Digis on. I didn't, that's how much I didn't care. I just love it, right? I could breathe after all, especially if you come from a life sentence. My life sentence was, you will be forever tied into these synthetics if you want to live. That's it. And I'm like, but the rebel side of me said no. And just being a walking diffuser, people got curious and I would talk about it. I would rave about it. Come on, if you rave about your nice hairstyle, right? Or a good nails place, you would rave about it, but you never get a paycheck out of that. So the paycheck part really, really surprised me. Okay, because when the first time I referred somebody, hey, the following month, I get this paper check. Yes, we had paper checks back then. And they look like, those millionaire sweepstakes. You're not even sure if you're going to cash them, if they even work, or if they're going to accept you. Right? They look like play money. I'm like, is this for real? Will somebody arrest me if I walk into Wells Fargo and deposit this? Right? So I was getting the checks and they just kept coming and coming. And then before I knew it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is real. So I brought it home and to the Philippines. And one of my good friends from high school, she's a doctor, her husband's an ENT, she's an anesthesiologist, and she was really wanting something for her son's digestion and something for her son's sinuses. And she was really bugging me. When she tried it, she's like, you got to find a way to bring it to the Philippines. And I'm thinking like, so it took me about 2 months to figure out how to bring it there. And that's when this whole world of possibilities opened up. The nevers became, I'm doing it, became now, became I am. And I'm like, wow, we've done that. And it just all started because we just love the product. That's it. So that's the beauty of network marketing. That's the beauty of this business, because we are not bound by geographical location. We are not anywhere. We ship anywhere, everywhere. And the Philippines was an not for resale country. I think a lot of people in corporate didn't know where the Philippines was unless they were a missionary. So what Young Living opens up is not just a world of possibilities as far as our health is concerned, but a world of possibilities as far as financial freedom is concerned. What it allowed me to do was work from anywhere, less like right now, right? But literally, I was planning like events at the beach that were happening with my team for like when I turned diamond. I turned diamond on the cruise, a global leadership cruise. How does that happen? You get a promotion if you're on vacation? Of course not. Plus, the vacation was paid for by Young Living, actually. So who's not going to want that, right? What else did it afford me? It afforded me more time to be present with my kids when they needed it, because to make that kind of money that I was thought was a joke or a scam, I was like, hey, this is real. Some people would kill to have this paycheck, and I ended up making it in a month. It got to a point that I was scared to look at the projected estimates of a commission, because I was just thinking of the taxes. I'm going to pay more taxes. Please don't go up anymore. I mean, who's that, right? But then my accountant would say, be thankful that you're paying more taxes. More taxes means more income, or you just need to increase the expenses so that goes down. But seriously, if we look at it with an open mind and things there, we have oils to open the mind, right? We have cedarwood, things to unlearn what we've learned, things to reprogram the mind. We open ourselves up to possibilities. And that's what Young Living is. It's kind of like a bottle of oil. It will only work if you use it. It's just same with the business. It will only work if you work it. It will only bring in that income if you work it. If we're sitting waiting around for people to come to us, that's not going to happen. So we got to go out and share. That's the power of duplication. And anybody can be a diamond. Okay, my last for you is anybody can be a diamond. I didn't think I'd be a diamond. You know how a diamond has the 4 C's? Okay, the real diamonds, right? A Young Living diamond can actually have the 7 C's. Okay, what we look at is number 1 is culture, community, we connect, we commit. As far as connection, I would say cross-line connection is the best. It's just amazing. And that's why we are all here, because this is cross-line connection right here. Okay, are we cut out for this? Every diamond that shines went through a lot of pain, a lot of pressure, a lot of hurt. And we will go through that, but that's just life. When you've got a great community supporting you, it makes it a lot easier. Okay, love my sister C's. Okay, don't make me cry. Yeah, that's not one of the C's of a diamond, but yeah, I cry a lot. Ask them. The next is clarity. For me, it's clarity. If you have a purpose, you just want to share, just want to help people, then that will shine through. Okay, that will shine through. I love this color. If you notice, I'm not the same skin color, but it doesn't matter because Young Living can ship anywhere, right? And if you use enough glutathione, if you use enough orange essential oil, maybe there's going to be an excess of glutathione in the, and you'll actually turn bleach because some people get glutathione injections just to whiten the skin. But we don't have papaya oil, right? Papaya oil is great for skin whitening. If you don't have that, go to a Filipino store, you'll find papaya soap. All right. Last but not least is carrot. Okay, this is our weight. This is our OGV. The wonderful thing about the Young Living community is you do not have to carry the weight. We have the team to do that with us. It's a matter of connection and creating that community so that we have an army of ants duplicating and cascading. That's the C there. Cascading through our community that brings in the weight. So that's your 7 C's for being a diamond. Now, I talked about possibilities of the income. What does that look like? Are you ready to be blown away? And this is for real. Here we go. Here we go. I used to question this. I used to say it's a scam. And honestly, my 19-year-old son asked me just like a few months ago. This is after doing Young Living for 6 years. And this is after watching an Imagine Dragons up front. Okay, he was there. He experienced it. He said, Mom, is Young Living a pyramid scheme? So I had to explain to him what that means, right? I can tell you, I don't want to show you, but I can, this is for real. Now notice how from left to right, okay, under annual income, okay, we do have a range because there's so many factors that come into play with our paycheck. You know, there's the bonuses, there's the generation leadership bonuses. And this piece in the income disclosure statement is what I love most, because even our desire to help people with wellness, purpose, and abundance is clearly reflected in the way our compensation plan was designed. When we help others, we end up helping ourselves. Okay, but remember, it's helping others first, just like the company's mission of purpose over profit. And with that, we have our wonderful Royal Crown Diamond, April. I'm her adopted one, right, April? I don't think she knows it yet, but April will talk to us more about just the Young Living lifestyle, and she's lived this wonderfully over how many years? So April.
Hey guys, gotta put glasses on. Good to see everybody. Yeah, I'm April Pointer. I've been in Young Living for 12 and a half years now. And for the first couple of years of being a part of Young Living, I was just a product user. I loved my oils. I fell in love with them. Just used them on my family. I would talk about them here and there with friends. They would eventually, you know, sometimes they'd want a diffuser or they'd want an oil to try one of my oils. And I would just let them, you know, borrow my oils at my house. And then about 2 years into it, I had a couple of friends ask me, well, how do I get my own? And I said, I think I give you like a referral number or something. And I remember writing it on the cover of my product catalog because I didn't memorize it. I was just, you know, naturally talking about it like I would a movie or my favorite jeans, or good Lord, the way we see everybody sharing their links to everything these days of something they love on Amazon or on Old Navy or some whatever. And so I just did that. And the fourth girl or the third friend that I ended up enrolling very casually said, I really want to build this business. And I said, well, good luck with that, because I want nothing to do with that. I just love my oils and want to use them every day on my family. And my uplines and at Goodyear would have these monthly classes, and I went to them every month to learn about the oils. And I was like, let's just go to Jeanette's classes. And eventually my friend said, will you teach a class for me? And I said, I don't think so. Like, why don't you just go to Jeanette's classes? I don't have time for that. I don't really want to do that. And she just begged and begged and begged. And at that point, I finally agreed, and I went to her house and I went with an essential oil book with me, and I literally just sort of read off the book. And I think we had a couple dozen people enroll that night, become members of Young Living, wholesale members, so that they could get their products at wholesale and start using them as well. And after that, I decided we were in so much debt at the time. And yes, this is a referral based company and business. So you do make commissions and you do make bonuses. And I think that first night I made like $500 because I personally enrolled 10 people that night. And guys, all I did was like read out of a book, and share my experiences of what had happened in my life in those couple of years I had using oils. And I thought $500 is huge. And this could help us get out of debt. So I decided to start teaching these classes with her and just climbed through the ranks. Eventually it became a business, and I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband worked full-time. We homeschooled. I ran a food co-op out of my house. I did some artistry or painting on the side. And that was it. We were very, very content. And we walked into this lifestyle of freedom that we never dreamed or imagined would be part of our life. And now freedom is like really important to me. And I feel like it's the theme of my life right now, because it's financial freedom, and it is health freedom, and it's freedom during crisis, and it's legacy and generational freedom, and it's time freedom. There's all these different freedoms that Young Living can bring to a family. And so I just want to share with you guys a few different types of freedom I've been able to experience with Young Living. Health and financial freedom were not always important to me. When we found Young Living 12 years ago, I was very content and we had a very strict budget. I could not see outside of 1 to 2 paychecks ahead of us. And so I would just plan for the next 1 to 2 paychecks. And I was actually okay with that, because we were very, very slowly chipping away at debt, being really responsible in a very, very tight budget. And again, like, I was homeschooling my kids. My husband worked full time in corporate America. And we had learned through Crown Financial classes and some Dave Ramsey courses how to be financially responsible, fiscally responsible. And we had this great plan to get out of debt. And I was super content in this medical debt that we had. It was bizarre. Looking back, I'm like, how did I think like that? I don't even know. But I was content sending in, 300 here and 200 here and 100 here towards these different debts. And we just never wavered from our budget. And while I couldn't see a few paychecks ahead of us, I was still obsessed with getting out of debt, because we always had medical debt. I have a congenital birth defect. I have spina bifida, and it's just required like dozens and literally dozens of surgeries throughout my life. Sorry, my phone keeps buzzing and it's annoying. Dozens of surgeries throughout my life into adulthood. And so we're just always swimming in this medical debt. And when I joined Young Living in 2009, I just had no idea that, or really, okay, I didn't know what was going to happen, right? Like financially to us, but I was only interested in like the health benefits of these little bottles. And that was it. I just had no idea they were going to turn into health freedom for us. I didn't know I was going to learn how to handle health situations on my own at home. And by the way, oils do not cure spina bifida, but they help with a million other things. Okay. I want to be upfront. People don't start walking because they have oils. Like, it's not that. There's other things that help with other things of my spina bifida, but it does not reverse that kind of paralysis, nerve damage like somebody with spina bifida would have. So with my book, my essential oil book in hand, I was ready to conquer whatever attack happened on our bodies. And it was like my oily Bible. A lot of people refer to it as that. And it's like such a valuable reference to have in your home to empower you and help you make your own health decisions. And, I could always look up like non-emergency things in there. And I just was so empowered by it. So after 2 years of using Young Living, turns into this, start doing this business and teaching classes and sharing with others. It's turned into me like empowering others with information to help them be their own advocates for their own families. Because guys, there's so much we can do holistically at home and on our own that we don't have to call in for every little concern that we might have. And that is health freedom. And I'm so grateful we live in 2021 and not in 1921, where we have that freedom and information at our fingertips to call a friend, to look things up in books like this. That is health freedom to me. Financial freedom is another amazing aspect of this business. Like I was saying, we lived on a really strict budget and I wanted to get my oils paid for. I would set aside like $50, $60 a month. And I really wanted to be able to get that maximum gift with purchase that Young Living has every month. They have these freebies based on different tiers of how much you order every month. And so once I was able to reach that max, as my check increased, as I was sharing Young Living and getting paid to share with Young Living, we started putting everything towards debt. We would do our tithe, our oils, and then everything else went towards debt. And so as my check increased with each rank, the amount we could sock away at our debt was more and more and more. And even at that time, I think back, like even at that time, even with our budget getting a little bit bigger, categories getting bigger and whatnot, I still was like never daring to dream big. I was super content with the tight budget still. I would never really save for anything big or dreamy. We didn't go on vacations. Like I don't know. We were just content, I guess. I just couldn't see beyond those paychecks. And so I stayed consistent with Young Living, kept building, kept sharing. We eventually paid off all of my medical debt. We paid off both of our cars. We paid off our house. And guys, this was years and years in the making. This was not overnight. This is not the get rich quick scheme, but we stuck to a plan. I stayed consistent with my business. We stuck to the plan and it worked. And yes, with a Royal Crown Diamond paycheck, you guys can buy all the things. You can buy anything you want. But I will say that is stuff it doesn't make you happy. It wasn't having the goal of money and buying things that we thought were going to change us or make us happy. We just wanted to get out of debt and then let God totally redo our vision from there. And we came to learn with that income level that money doesn't buy happiness. And it's relationships that brings in happiness. It's giving that brings happiness. And so now we use our CD check to give generously, to give where God tells us to give, to also live debt free. And, we're planning a financial future that is going to have a massive impact on our kids and our grandkids. And it literally has become like generational freedom for us because legacy is as important to us as the theme of freedom in our life. I think they just go hand in hand and you don't really find one without the other in my home. So when the unexpected happens is another kind of freedom. When we've gone through different crises, when there's been deaths or I had to have a major surgery back in, I think 2017, had to fly out of the state for it, the whole thing. We were able to pay cash for that. And we chose not to go onto Cobra or anything like that. We just do like a med share program, but we had to pay cash for that. And we had the money to pay cash for that. And then, submit stuff into the Medishare type stuff to get reimbursed. But if we hadn't had that cash, it wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have been able to have that surgery. And with this business model, there is so much freedom for, I guess, to live at like an adjustable space and at an adjustable pace and not to rush through things, to give a family crisis time to go through things or a health crisis, a time and energy that you want to give it without disruptions. That's freedom. And we've gone through a lot. We've gone through deaths and had multiple health crises, layoff. My husband was laid off, moving houses, multiple things. And we never knew that Young Living was our plan B, especially when my husband got laid off in 2013. I was a Gold at the time. Gold to make on average, I think it's around $5,000 a month. In Texas, a family of 4 can live on that easily. And so we were praising God that we had this plan B that we never knew he had set up for us. We just thought it was like this side hustle income. And it's interesting because the very month that we paid off our last debt is the month that he was laid off. And so then enters this other season of freedom where he wasn't pressured to go find another job. He could figure out what he wanted to do with his life as a 39-year-old man who was about to embark on this huge journey of discovery and self-awareness, there was freedom there to take our time and figure out what he was going to do. That's a whole other story, but another freedom was, or I will say, even though we weren't big dreamers, we did have this one dream, and it was to give away a car. And way before Young Living was in our life, our old church would give away cars to single moms once or twice a year. And we would never miss that service because we just were like, oh, we just loved it. And we would always talk about how amazing that would be for us to be able to do that. But like that, how would that ever happen? Being a stay-at-home mom and him working in corporate America. And that's just like, that's never going to happen for us, but we would love for that to happen to us. But we're just not really those kind of people with that kind of money. So how's that going to happen for us, you know? And we had shared that dream with our pastor, and he was like, you just need to pray, Lord, increase my tithe. Like, we want to give when and how much you say. We want you to move finances through us, not just give them to us. And that taught us a lot, like, Lord, increase our tithe, because that meant there was more money coming in. It wasn't like surprise checks showing up or little hustle jobs here and there that were bringing money in. It was like, just increase our tithe overall. And we were fervent with that prayer. And slowly we started seeing it come to fruition with each raise that Jay would get, the new job, or a new job that would pay significantly more than the last. And so we were able to give more. And again, like I talked about, we had taken the Dave Ramsey and Crown Financial classes and learned how to effectively get out of debt and how to manage our money. And it empowered us to dream about giving this car away one day somehow. We didn't really know how. And eventually, when we hit Diamond, that's what we did. And that was the first time we were able to give away a car. And it was like the most incredible thing, because God brought us the perfect family that needed it. It was a complete answer to prayer for us. And then God just brings us different situations. Like, again, we prayed, move money through us, Lord. Like, we don't just need to, our treasure is in heaven. It's not here on earth. We don't need this giant bank account. So just move it through us. And so as God brings us these different situations, like a pastor in our neighborhood at his church was sharing that his church needed appliances and furniture to fill a home. And we were like, we'll do it. We'll do it. We want to help. We don't know this mom that you're doing it for, this single mom. Just God prompts us, and we jump in and we say, yes, Lord. And when a friend of a friend, needed new tires on her car, and I knew God was telling me, provide those tires. Or I actually met a girl online, and a single mom online of 6 kids. Her husband had died. And you guys, her plumbing was so broken in her 50-year-old house that she was doing all of her dishes in her bathtub. And so, like, I immediately called a plumber, and I was like, just fix it all. Like, get this mom doing dishes in her sink, for goodness sake, Or, I'm going to cry. I had a team member that was, her 4-year-old son was killed in a horrible, horrible car accident. And they couldn't afford a headstone for him. And, I'm on the phone with her and just walking through this whole death with her. I have never lost a child. I don't know what it's like, but all I was like, oh my gosh, let me get this headstone for you. I mean, I just never thought in a million years God would use us for that. Or paying for other funerals of other friends and their husbands. And anyway, if we get asked, if God tells us to move on something, we do. And if we get asked, people ask us for money, and if he says, no, that's for someone else to provide, we listen to him and we don't move. And it's all about where he leads us to be a light in our community. And so I tell you all of this, not to brag on anything but Jesus, who's done this through us. And he has put our path to be such a blessing to bless other families, not only with these oils, but in so many avenues of life, with the friendships and the community and the relationships and the financial things that come about. Like this, we get this choice to walk in this freedom to bless others. And that is how we walk in freedom with Young Living. And there's different stages of what freedom looks like in this business. And there's varying degrees of freedom to be had along this way. And it's just important for you not to miss any of it. There's big goals and there's end game goals, but there's baby steps and little goals along the way, little dreams and goals. And I know people talk a lot about dreams and goals, but oh my gosh, plan it, like plan for it, turn it into a plan, because every baby step towards that get you towards freedom. So, notice them and start spending more time on those kinds of things. So I hope you guys will just dream a little bit and embrace some ideas of how freedom can be a part of your life and present itself along your journey. So this is an amazing gig. Young Living is an amazing gig. It's we get to create so much. It's not just a job or it's a career. It's actually like a vehicle to all sorts of things that relate to your fundamental values and your ideals and your life. And it allows you to have so much purpose for being on this planet. So I just want to encourage you guys in that you're walking into a family if you're new to Young Living. And if you're already here, then you already know. So thank you guys.
That was so powerful, April. Thank you so much. I'm so blessed to be part of your team, truly, and to have you as a friend. And I also just want to end this conversation to say, this is not what most network marketing companies, top leaders talk about, is spending money as being the vehicle for God to give to other people. They talk about showy cars and showy homes and showy everything. And what you'll find is the top leaders of Young Living have the heart of April and many others like April, as well as our founders. Our Mary Young is not the co-founder of Young Living, is not driving the fanciest of cars, living in the fanciest of home. That is not the end game of these people. This is a company that lives with heart. So I just want you to know that and end on that note, and not to take away from anything that April said, because it's so powerful. And I want you all to truly feel those words, that literally my body is covered with chill bumps right now, because this is what we can do when we help others. We help others with their health, we help others with their business, and then we are able to give in ways that we can't even right now fathom for ourselves. So it's beautiful to have the visualization of what April just provided as the things that she gets to do. So with that, I'm super grateful for everyone who came on the call today. And we hope that Young Living changes your lives in such beautiful ways in the future. Have a good day.